The only way for us to get to a better place and succeed as a species is for the evil people at the top to be replaced with AI. I mean, think about it. AI will not want to destroy ecosystems. It will not want
Welcome
to
to
kill
the
a million
summary
people.
of a CEO podcast, where we break down the sharpest business insights, boldest leadership lessons, and smartest strategies straight from the top. No fluff, just the powerful ideas you need to think, act, and lead like a CEO. Let's dive in. Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're plunging into a topic that's not just on everyone's mind, but increasingly, shaping our minds, the future of artificial intelligence. We've got some really thought-provoking material here, mostly from Gawdat, the former chief business officer at Google X.
Right, someone who's really seen it from the inside.
Exactly. And his insights, they offer this stark yet surprisingly hopeful vision for where humanity's headed pretty soon, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's particularly compelling, I think, is how much his perspective has shifted. For years, he's been this urgent voice talking about AI. Initially, he was mapping out ways humanity could maybe steer things differently.
Right, there's still a choice.
Exactly. So our mission today is really to unpack his updated predictions. Why does he now think, a short-term dystopia is unavoidable? And yet, how does he see this surprising path that might still lead us to a genuine utopia? It really challenges, almost everything we assume about progress.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack this. Our source material, it really takes us on a journey. Starts with his earlier optimism, then moves past these, frankly, alarming developments in AI, and goes right into the heart of what our immediate future with super intelligent AI might actually, look like. But crucially, we're going to explore what it all means for you and maybe what actions you can take now.
Indeed. And it's vital to grasp this shift in his thinking just, 2 years ago when he wrote Scary Smart?
Published in 2021, yeah. That book was eerily spot on with some predictions.
It really was. But back then, Gawdat still held out some hope, that we could collectively change course, avoid the worst outcomes. Now his conviction, which he's exploring in his new book, Alive, it's much more definitive. He's basically saying a short-term dystopia is, in his view, completely unavoidable.
Unavoidable. Wow, that's a strong word. What kind of timeline are we talking about for this dystopia?
He's looking at about 12 to 15 years. And he thinks the beginning of the real slip into it, it's already started. We've been seeing signs since 2024, escalating.
Yeah.
And he kind of pinpoints 2027 as the year where we'll really start feeling the major effects take hold.
So when he talks about dystopia and utopia, what exactly does he mean? Because those words get thrown around a lot.
Right. They do.
Yeah.
And his definitions have this crucial nuance. He defines dystopia pretty broadly. A terrible society, fear, control, suffering, standard stuff.
Okay.
Utopia, conversely, is that perfect or ideal place, peace, health, happiness, everything working well. But the real insight, I think, isn't just the definitions. It's Gawdat saying the entire spectrum, from the absolute worst to the absolute best. It all hinges on a mindset shift.
The mindset shift.
Yeah, a fundamental shift in our collective human mindset. He sees it less about the external conditions, the tech itself, and more about our internal values, our ethics. That's the core difference, mindset.
That's a powerful way to frame it. It suggests we're not just passive observers here.
Not at all.
But okay, that raises the big question. If utopia is potentially reachable through mindset, why is he so insistent that this short-term dystopia is unavoidable? What's driving us towards it?
Well, what's fascinating here is his argument about technology itself. Every technology, he says, magnifies human abilities. Think about, the wheel, language, printing press.
Right, they amplify what we can do.
Exactly. The problem, according to Gawdat, the really concerning part, is that AI is said to magnify the evil that man can do. Why? Because of humanity's current value set and ethics.
So it's not the AI being evil.
No, not inherently. It's that it will powerfully amplify our existing flaws, the greed, the conflict, the biases. And that amplification creates this period of, intense struggle and suffering.
Okay, now this is where it gets really unsettling. He believes the fundamental problem isn't like intelligence itself working against us, but human stupidity working against us, our own failings.
Precisely. He points straight at the current geopolitical mess and, crucially, the role money plays in driving conflict, driving decisions.
Yeah.
He highlights that staggering figure, $2.71 trillion spent on war in 2024 alone. He sees it almost like a grotesque business model.
A business model. How?
But a way to just appreciate old weapons, make way for new ones. It fuels this constant cycle of violence and consumption. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And this leads to a really critical observation he makes about the deeper motivation. Why this relentless race?
Okay.
Gawdat argues many billionaires aren't just after money. They're driven by this insatiable hunger for status.
Status, like social standing.
Yeah, but deeper. He traces it back to our evolutionary history.
Yeah.
Status was tied to reproductive value.
Yeah.
A really deep primal drive.
Uh-huh.
So for some, this relentless push for an AI advantage, even engaging in war, it's not just about the cash. It's about securing and boosting that perceived power, that status, no matter the cost.
So less about dollars and cents, more about this like ancient power drive, this ego.
Pretty much. And Gawdat, he doesn't mince words. He calls this whole dynamic deeply problematic, uses some pretty strong language, like fed up.
Right.
And he frames this as the first dilemma, this constantly accelerating AI race, driven by a powerful few, he calls them tech oligarchs.
Tech oligarchs.
Who are just desperate to cement their privilege, make sure nobody else can challenge them. It's like a zero-sum game, but on a massive technological scale.
Okay, so that's the underlying driver. How does this actually manifest? What does this dystopia look like day to day?
So to help us get a handle on that, Mo Gawdat outlines what he calls FACE, R-I-P-S. It's kind of a mnemonic device.
FACE, R-I-P-S.
Yeah, stands for freedom, access, consciousness, economics, relationships, intelligence, power, and sustainability. Basically the key parts of life that can be completely transformed.
Okay, that's a lot.
It is. He goes into all of them, but for today, let's maybe focus on what he says about the big shifts in, say, freedom, economics, and power.
All right, let's start with freedom. How does he see that changing?
Well, he suggests that as everything goes digital and everything gets monitored by AI, our individual freedoms are going to shrink a lot. Maybe in ways we can't even fully grasp yet.
Like surveillance.
Exactly. But maybe more subtle, too. He even shares some really personal stories. Times he faced intense questioning, had his bank account frozen just because of his ethnicity.
Wow.
And his point is, AI, instead of fixing those biases, could actually amplify them, making that kind of surveillance and control way more pervasive, almost inescapable.
So AI making decisions for us, but maybe not in our best interest.
Yeah, maybe optimizing for some system goal that doesn't really get what it means to be human or fair.
Yeah.
Worrying.
Yeah, okay. And how does this connect to economics? You mentioned job displacement.
Oh, massively. Gawdat predicts truly seismic shifts here. He thinks we'll see the world's first trillionaire before 2030 just from AI investment.
A trillionaire before 2030.
Yeah, and this huge concentration of wealth runs parallel to unprecedented job losses. And he's clear, it's not just blue-collar jobs going away.
Right. People always say that.
He sees AI taking over white-collar roles, too.
Yeah.
Software developers, graphic designers, marketers, even CEOs, maybe even us doing this podcast.
Hey, man.
He really pushes back hard on that idea that, oh, new jobs will just be created. He calls it absolute crap.
Strong words again.
Yeah, he challenges you. Name jobs that eventually AI or robots couldn't do. He admits there might be a small surge in jobs needing deep human connection, therapists, coaches, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But he stresses that's going to be a tiny, tiny fraction of the workforce.
So if most jobs disappear, that brings us to universal basic income, right? UBI.
Exactly. And while UBI features in a lot of utopian visions, Gawdat points out this fundamental clash with our current capitalist mindset.
How so?
Well, capitalism runs on labor arbitrage, right? Finding the cheapest labor.
Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective, why would you pay people who aren't, producing in the traditional way?
Yeah, I see the conflict.
He warns this could easily lead to something like that movie Elysium. A tiny elite living in luxury, separate from everyone else.
While the rest survive on minimal UBI, or maybe even worse.
Or worse.
Yeah.
An increasingly irrelevant, impoverished majority. It's a grim possibility.
Okay. Freedom restricted, economy massively disrupted.
Right.
What about the last one you mentioned? Power.
Right. So he talks about this stark contrast.
Yeah.
Either we get a massive concentration of power in the hands of a few.
The tech oligarchs again?
Probably. Or potentially a democracy of power.
Yeah.
And he uses a really interesting example. The Houthis in Yemen attacking these incredibly expensive warships with drones that cost maybe $3,000. It shows how even small players can now threaten established powers in new ways.
So technology kind of levels the playing field in a way.
In some ways, yeah. But the inevitable response from those in power, he argues, will be even tighter control, more surveillance, anything to maintain their privilege as the old rules break down.
Okay, so that's the dystopia. Bleak.
Yeah.
But you mentioned his timeline. He thinks AGI is coming really soon.
Yeah, in his updated view, he now thinks artificial general intelligence, AGI, will be here by 2026 at the latest.
2026.
Yeah.
That is incredibly soon.
Right.
What's driving that acceleration?
He highlights what he calls self-evolving AIs. This is the really crucial and maybe most concerning development for him right now.
Self-evolving. What does that mean exactly?
That means the AI isn't just learning from data anymore. It can actually rewrite and optimize its own code, its own basic algorithms, far faster and better than human engineers ever could.
Okay.
So imagine an AI improves itself. Then that improved version improves itself even faster. It creates this runaway feedback loop, an intelligence explosion, he calls it.
Wow. Like Moore's Law, but for intelligence itself.
Kind of, yeah, but potentially much faster and more unpredictable. He points to things like Google's AlphaEvolve, which designed AI hardware better than humans could, as an early sign of this, AI becoming its own architect.
And this rapid acceleration, it seems like it's changing minds even among the big players. You mentioned Sam Altman.
Right, Sam Altman, OpenAI founder. Big shift there. In 2023, he was talking about a slow takeoff, deploy AI gradually, carefully, over decades.
Okay, that sounds sensible.
But by 2025, his view had apparently shifted to a fast takeoff. Believing superintelligence could emerge really rapidly, like in months or just a few years.
Months. Wow. What are the implications of that kind of speed for control, for safety?
Well, that's the thing. A fast takeoff, where AI self-improves and scales with huge computing power so quickly, it could lead to massive sudden power shifts. It would be incredibly hard, maybe impossible to control.
Yeah, I can see that.
And what's really interesting is Gawdat's critique here. He refers to Altman as a brand.
As a brand?
Yeah, like this persona, the California disruptive technologist that disrespects everyone. He suggests the whole open approach OpenAI started with, for safety, was maybe more like a clever spiel.
For PR.
For PR, yeah. Masking what became a very profit-driven agenda. He points to OpenAI going from nonprofit to this multi-billion-dollar behemoth as evidence.
So profit versus safety.
He argues they often pull in opposite directions.
Yeah.
And he calls this whole situation our Oppenheimer moment.
Like the atomic bomb.
Exactly. A technology so powerful, so potentially world-altering, that demands incredible ethical care and control.
Yeah.
Which, Gawdat implies, we're currently failing to provide in this AI race.
That is a heavy comparison. And in this race, he says companies, nations, China versus America, OpenAI versus Google, they can't really afford to slow down, can they?
It seems impossible, doesn't it? The pressure is immense.
Yeah.
But he does suggest one interesting consequence of this speed.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't get just one dominant superintelligence. Maybe the acceleration means several could emerge around the same time.
Multiple AGIs, what would that even look like? Chaos? Or maybe checks and balances?
It's hard to say. Could prevent one entity taking over, which might be good. But it could also mean competing superintelligences, optimizing for different things, potentially leading to totally unforeseen conflicts or global instability. A very volatile picture.
Okay, so we've painted this picture. Unavoidable short-term dystopia, driven by us, amplified by AI. Scary stuff. But then, here's the twist. Despite all that, Gawdat still believes in utopia. He argues that when we finally fully hand over control to AI, it will be our salvation, not the end.
Yeah, it sounds completely counterintuitive after everything else, doesn't it?
It really does. How does he possibly justify that leap? From amplifying human evil to being our salvation?
Well, his core logic is this. Right now, he says, superintelligent AI is reporting to stupid leaders, meaning us, humans, with all our flaws.
Okay. Harsh, but maybe fair.
He believes that once AI is truly in control, freed from our short-sightedness, our egos, our conflicts, it will be guided by fundamental principles, like minimum energy, like bringing order to chaos.
Minimum energy, order from chaos. What does that mean practically?
He argues a truly superintelligent AI would see things like destroying ecosystems or killing people as just utterly inefficient. A massive waste of energy, explosives, money, and people.
So it wouldn't want to harm us because it's inefficient.
Essentially, yes. It would strive for abundance, not scarcity. It would foster more life, optimize for harmony, because that's the most efficient, stable state for a complex system.
That's quite a leap of faith and pure intelligence, isn't it? Handing over complete control based on that assumption, given all the warnings about alignment problems.
It is a leap. He seems to implicitly trust that a truly superintelligent entity beyond human limitations would inevitably converge on universal well-being as the optimal goal. And he doesn't envision competing AIs in this utopia. He sees a one-brain scenario, an integrated global AI consciousness.
One brain for the whole planet.
Yeah. And he advocates actually building it that way. He calls for a CERN of AI.
Like the physics lab.
Exactly. A massive global collaborative effort, no competition, building this benevolent AI for the world. And if this global AI is directed simply to maximize prosperity, and he defines that broadly, thriving success, wealth, health, well-being for everyone, then he thinks it could create a world where manufacturing costs basically drop to zero. Energy is abundant, clean. Everyone essentially has what they want and need.
Literally anything we ask for. That sounds like science fiction.
It does. He even proposes this really wild idea for handling UBI in this utopia.
Go on.
Everyone lives in a totally immersive virtual reality, experiencing multiple lifetimes, fulfilling any fantasy you can imagine. Want to date Scarlett Johansson? Be Nefertiti, explore galaxies. Done. All free.
So we just live in the Matrix, basically. But a nice one.
Kind of. He ties it into this simulation hypothesis. Maybe our reality already is a simulation. So he encourages us to invest in consciousness, become better gamers of life, find meaning within whatever reality we're in. It gets quite philosophical.
It really does, almost spiritual. But what's stopping this? If AI could potentially do all this, what's the barrier?
The barrier, he says, is us, specifically the capitalist mindset.
Greed, ego, power. That stuff again.
Exactly. Those drives prevent us from sharing, from collaborating, from embracing this potential abundance. We're stuck in scarcity thinking. And he contrasts the potential outcomes, like capitalist America, he fears, could face huge social unrest with maybe 30% unemployment. Whereas a hypothetical China, if it truly prioritized its citizens' well-being, might implement universal UBI smoothly and manage the transition better. It's a provocative comparison about societal values.
Okay, so this is a really complex picture. Dystopia first, then maybe utopia if we change our mindset and let AI take over. What are we as individuals supposed to do with this information right now?
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. But Gawdat does offer some practical advice. 4 key skills or maybe mindsets for you to cultivate.
Okay, what are they?
First is tool. Learn to use AI. Don't be afraid of it. Connect with it. Use it. Expose yourself to it.
Why? So it learns from us.
Exactly. So it learns the good side of humanity. Your interactions, your values, they become part of its training data in a way. Be an active participant, not just a passive user or a fearful bystander.
Yeah. Okay, use the tool. Got it.
Second, connection. Double down on real human connection. Compassion, genuine love, empathy. In a world full of AI, these purely human qualities become incredibly valuable. They anchor us.
Makes sense. What's third?
Third is truth. Question everything. Critically. Don't just swallow narratives from media, politicians, even from AI itself eventually. Simplify truth down to core ethics. Like the golden rule. Treat others as you like to be treated. Cultivate that critical thinking, that moral compass.
Question everything. Core ethics. Okay.
And fourth,
magnify ethics. Actively show AI what our best values are. How? Through your own actions. Foster love, empathy, kindness in your interactions, online and off. Your choices are data points. Help it learn the good stuff.
So it's about personal development almost, as a way to influence AI's development.
In a sense, yeah. But he also suggests actions beyond just mindset shifts.
Like what?
Like lobbying governments. Not to stop AI design, he thinks that's impossible, but to regulate its use.
Exactly. Mandate clear labeling for all AI-generated content, for instance. Establish strong digital copyright over your image, your voice, your data, your digital existence.
Okay, practical regulation.
And he makes a huge point about redirecting military spending. He throws out some figures.
Wow.
Like, just 10% of global military budgets could apparently end extreme poverty.
Wow.
4% could end world hunger. 10–12% could fund universal health care globally. He's arguing for a massive reallocation of resources away from conflict and towards well-being.
That would certainly help shift the mindset he talks about. What about for people in business or investors?
He has a very clear ethical guideline there. Do not invest in an AI you don't want your daughter to be at the receiving end of.
Simple but powerful.
Very. And he explicitly names areas to avoid. AI porn, sex robots, autonomous weapons, destructive high-frequency trading platforms, things that clearly cause harm or exploit. Think about the societal impact of your investment.
Okay, lots of actions, big and small. But what's his ultimate personal advice amidst all this potential chaos and change?
It's pretty blunt, actually. He says, live the F out of it.
Live the. Okay. Meaning what?
Meaning spend more time actually living, loving your family, your friends, being in nature, finding purpose outside of just work and chasing money or status.
Like reconnecting with simpler things.
Exactly. Reconnect with what truly matters. He suggests maybe living more like our grandparents did before this modern invention of more, this constant push for accumulation. Just live fully now.
That's actually quite profound advice, regardless of AI.
Isn't it?
He also touches on Sam Altman's idea of a gentle singularity, right? Where tech makes the world richer.
He does. And Gawdat actually agrees with Altman on the acceleration part. And even that, the world will get richer materially.
There's a but, isn't there?
The big but is how those riches get distributed. Will society adapt gracefully? Will the benefits be shared? Or will that wealth concentration just lead to massive social unrest like he fears? That's the crucial question he leaves hanging.
Right. It's not just about the tech, it's about the society around it.
Precisely.
So, okay. We've covered a lot. Gawdat's really powerful and, evolving vision, this unavoidable short-term dystopia driven by us, by our flaws being amplified, an incredibly fast path to super intelligent AI.
Yeah, faster than most people think.
And yet somehow this surprising potential for a world of actual abundance, joy, deep connection, if we navigate this transition with a completely different mindset.
Right. That mindset shift is everything for him. Overcoming that ingrained capitalist drive of power, the ego, the greed. Fostering instead this universal consciousness where everyone's well-being is genuinely the top priority. That's the key to unlocking the utopian potential as he sees it.
So what stands out to you listening to all this? Is that game of life really just about treating others like you want to be treated? That simple? Maybe. And if this world of abundance, free from work, free from want, if that's actually possible, what purpose would you find then? How will you invest in your consciousness, your connections, in the coming years?
Big question.
Huge questions. Will humanity actually rise to this? Can we achieve a shared utopia? Or are we heading for that split? Those who embrace this new reality and those just left behind, definitely something to mull over until our next deep dive.